Hello everyone! In today's video we are going to make a really easy and fun block. This is called Haunted Hideout. Now you can use this with any fabrics you like. So in this block I did Halloween fabrics with some scraps that I had from our quilt we just finished. But just think, you could make a block for each month of the year and make different fabrics in each block. That would be super cute. Or you could just do an assortment of all your scraps like I did. Okay, so this quilt block is a free pattern and it's brought to us today by American Patchwork and Quilting. At the very end of the video, there is a link to allpeoplequilt.com so you can get this pattern, okay? So let's get started. Here are all of the pieces you will need for your background. So as you can see, I have them listed. In the parentheses is how many you will need of that size, okay? Okay, so next, this is the items in your quilt block: your door, your chimney, your roof, your windows, and the grass. So I listed these out so it would be really simple for you to use your scraps. So you will know that your door is 2 inches by 4 inches. So if you want to fussy cut maybe some fabrics you have for your door or your windows, this is the measurements and the amount you will need of those pieces, okay? On this page, I have all of the pieces for your actual house listed. And then, but at the very top, you'll see it says 2.5 inches width of fabric binding. That's if you would like to follow the pattern and make this a wall hanging, okay? Now, I'm using mine as a quilt block. So I'm going to be making Halloween blocks and then I'll put them all together and I'm making them scrappy. So I'm not going to be cutting the binding fabric. But if you would like to make this into a wall hanging, you will need to cut those 2 strips that are 2.5 inches. But the rest of the measurements on this page are for your house block. Now, I used directional fabric on my house block, so I had to pay attention when I cut these pieces which direction my fabric needed to face. So if you're going to use directional, make sure you pay attention to that also, okay? Alright, so now that we have all of our pieces cut, we're going to start assembling our block. So we're going to do it in different sections. The first thing we're going to do is take 2 background fabric pieces and our chimney block piece, and we are going to sew them together first. Okay, so we have our roof rectangle here, and we have our chimney block that we just sewed on the sewing machine. Okay, so we are going to take this part, the side with the smaller background rectangle. See how this side's larger? And we are going to put it over here at the top like this. Okay. And then we're going to draw a line from this corner right here. You can see that's where the roof rectangle is. From that corner to up here. And we're going to stitch on this line at the sewing machine. And then we will trim off this part back here. So when we flip it up, it's going to look like this. And this is going to be one side of our roof. And this is our chimney on our roof. Okay? So let's take these 2 pieces of fabric and let's go to the sewing machine and sew our block on. Okay, so we have part of our roof done. We sewed on our background with our chimney to our rooftop. So the next thing we're going to do is take our other piece of background fabric. We're going to flip it over just like we did that other side. And we are going to draw a line from this corner to down here where the corner is of the roof fabric. Okay, so we're going to lay our background fabric piece on. And we are going to use our ruler and pen to draw a line. Okay, so as you can see, I have a line on there. And I'm going to stitch on that, and then I will fold this back. And that's how our roof block will look. Super cute, I love it. Okay, so let's go to the sewing machine and sew on this line. All right, so now that we have our roof block made, we are going to add a strip of sashing to the top of the roof. That's our background fabric, and that will measure 2.5 inches by 14 inches, okay? So let's sew that on next. Okay, so the next block we're going to work on is our door block. So what we're going to do is I have all of our pieces laid out here. So 2 inch, 2 inch, 2 inch, 2 by 4 inch, 2 by 8.5. Okay, so the way we're going to put our block together is we are going to sew this row together right here. Once we have all of these pieces sewn together, then we will sew these side strips on. And we will have our door block finished, okay? So let's go to the sewing machine and let's sew the center row together and then add our side sashings. Okay, so the next section of our block we're going to work on is our window section. So here are the windows. Okay, so what we're going to do first is sew this row together. All right, once we sew that together, then we will sew these blocks to it. Okay, this is going to be the window section of our house. So let's go to the sewing machine and sew this all together. All right, so we have our door section made and we have our window section made. Now we are going to sew them two together. So let's go to the sewing machine and sew them together. Okay, so now that we have our door and our window blocks sewn together, we're going to sew on our side sashing to our house. Okay, and then once we do that, we have our grass block that we will sew onto the bottom. So let's go to the sewing machine and let's sew on this side sashing pieces first, okay? Once we get these sewn on, the background fabric, then we will sew on our grass strip. All right, so let's take this all to the sewing machine and sew it together.
Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel. Like and subscribe to Grandma's channel.